estate. Our update today is brought to you by Landmark Commercial Real Estate in Wichita, founded in 1993, and now one of the market leaders in sales, leasing, retail, office, restaurant, industrial properties, and so much more. What we try to do with these is visit with some of our brokers, some of our staff members, and kind of what the atmosphere is going through. And one of the better people, of course, to bring in on this, who has had to weather the storm, I think, probably none other than he's ever been before through, and that's Brad Saville. Brad, good afternoon to you. And first of all, how's the family doing? Everybody staying safe?
Hey, Brad, how are you? So far we're all healthy. We're just trying to keep from punching holes in the wall and keeping people out of the hospital from breaking their bones from running over each other.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that's good. So let's talk about it. You and I just a minute ago before we went on air, Brad, how do you run a commercial real estate office in a stay-at-home order when that's been provided? That's a unique thing to have to do. What is your 10,000-foot view on running brokers like the many of us right now?
it's been interesting. We've got the management and the leasing and the brokerage guys, but it's been interesting because we're used to spending every day together, seeing each other, bouncing ideas off of each other, and it's hard to do that anymore. So we've had to become very techy, and we're doing lots of Microsoft Teams and Zoom calls, and we're trying to stay connected as possible. So it's been a learning curve.
Let's talk a little bit about, I know that Kevin Dreiling has come to our staff and been dynamic. What has been one of the biggest challenges, if you could pinpoint one, during the stay-at-home order in commercial real estate all over the state? Is there one?
Yeah, we kind of got off with a bang, and he started on January 5th, I believe, and we started working our plans for this year on how to continue to grow the company. And pretty quickly, we were met with a new challenge that we didn't expect. And he has spent a lot of time on HR and trying to staff the office and staff the management company and learn how to allow everybody to work remotely. And so temporarily, we've been working on how to best serve our clients and take care of our special customers and just continue to do business as usual, even though it's not usual.
Yeah, not at all. I had a chance to talk a little bit earlier today to Zach Zerby, who has done a deal through all of this. You guys got a nice restaurant on the east side. Brad, what is for deals to be teed off, ready to go to lease? Are people hitting the pause button? Are they going forward? What are you seeing right now in the midst of all of this on deals that are on the table?
Yeah, I've talked to everybody, and I would say at least 50% of everybody's transactions are on pause. I don't think that they're dead. They're just on pause, and people are watching, trying to figure out when we're going to come back and when things are going to start up again.
Yeah, it's
and trying to help them move ahead. Certainly for the bigger long-term construction projects, we've been able to keep some of those things moving because maybe as you've seen around town, a lot of the contractors are continuing to work as long as they keep lighter staffs and keep their spacing. So for the development and construction projects, they're able to keep working, and hopefully when they get done, the city will be open again.
Yeah. Between us, Brad, is an article that was trended a couple of days ago about how the malls and that retail sector was the first to shut down. And this article says that's really going to be a big challenge for the malls going forward. What do you think? We've got dynamic malls in our area, Simon led, of course. Is that going to be a tough get back to norm, especially for our malls, do you believe?
I don't know if it's especially harder for the malls or especially harder for going out to dinner or going to a soccer game, but I think everybody's going to slowly dip their toe back in the market. That probably includes shopping, restaurants, and everything else, and going out to do fun things. But people are just going to start slowly and ease back in. I saw that article, and I know that it said that the values were cut and the values were gone, but it's kind of like the stock market used. So temporarily, if they had to sell today, the values are gone, but that doesn't change from any investment property. If your tenant is gone, the property might be worth X, and if the tenant's back in, it might be worth Y. So I don't know that that's different than any other investment property that we're working on. So.
Speaking of which, one I think is getting a lot of attention is this one right here. Great development at 29th and Greenwich. Is there a hotter part of town? I want you to talk a little bit about this, because this really is a pocket of retail and a pocket of growth that we haven't seen in a long time. Tell me a little bit about this listing that you have right now, Brad.
Well, we're excited to have it. Kevin Dryling was influential in bringing that in. It's 80 acres at 29th and Greenwich. The momentum is certainly on Greenwich, all the way from 13th Street all the way up to 29th, and they're building residential up there. But Greenwich Place has been explosive, and Plazio has been doing some good things with opening Chicken and Pickle, and so it's just Greenwich is a great corridor where Webb has turned out to be mostly medical and office, with exception of the waterfront has done very well. So we're just excited to see that growth go to the north. But we've got 80 acres there, and we're working on a master plan right now. And hopefully, when things improve, we can start marketing that again.
Yeah, and I love it because, I mean, what do you see there? Is that residential? I know there's apartments right there that are almost full, but then again, you've got some killer retail right there. What do you see, that half and half, or is it kind of a wait and see?
Yeah, it's funny. My daughter's trying to peek her head in the door. So
let her do it. Now. Let her do it.
Hey, honey, how are you?
Hey, honey.
All right.
Hi.
All right.
Hey, sweetheart.
We really do think it's half and half. It's funny. Yeah. I've talked to George Laham before, and we joke about it, how long it takes Wichita to develop, and he developed a lot of the stuff around 21st and Greenwich. But 80 acres is a lot of acreage, so we're programming at least 30, 40 acres to be residential, and then the rest to be commercial, and we're talking to some different users for that. So we'll be coming out with a concept plan really soon. So
yeah, on the other side of town, Brad, here's another property. I wanted to find out a little bit more about it because I think I went to that VIP opening of this new facility for the bus friends of ours. This is at 21st and Mays, if I'm not right. What a great piece of property. Am I right at that?
Yeah. No, you're right. You're really close. It's at 21st and Tyler, right by the Warren movie theater, and it's kind of an intersection that got passed by a little bit. But 21st and Tyler is a great intersection, and this is a really good user property for somebody that might have an automotive use or a boat dealership. But it's really, really unique zoning and a property at 21st and Tyler, which is hard to find, but could also be a great development opportunity. We had an automotive developer out of Texas that was going to redevelop it, and they backed out at the last second. And so we're marketing this again and looking for the right use for this property. But it is location on that one. It is a very good location. So
yeah, and a very, very large piece of property to handle all of those buses at one time. It's great. Did they go up in space as they went a little bit? I think it was north. Did they double their space? Because that's a beautiful facility, isn't it too?
Yeah, they're up at 96th and Ridge, and that's another intersection that's seeing a lot of activity right now. Wendy's is under construction. Heck, they might be opening any day up there. So that corridor continues to develop out.
Good to know that. That is a great piece of property. Let's just wrap up by saying this: is there a forecast in commercial real estate that you think this thing is? Are we at halftime yet, Brad? Are we in the first quarter? What is your gut right now telling you going through this, at least on a perspective of commercial real estate?
Yeah, I feel like it's halftime because I feel like we're walking around at the Shocker game, talking to people, having a beer, having a drink at halftime, and we're ready for the second half of some action to start again. So we're certainly ready. I think the end is hopefully in sight. I hope that's in May or early June, but I think things will start up again slow. But I've heard good things about the investment world and investors still being on the sidelines, being a lot. I'm hoping that people will be ready to jump back in. So yeah. I mean, I've heard that we'll get going again as quickly as we stopped for this type of an incident. So, but I don't think it's going to be overnight. I think it's going to be many months or even years. But it's we're going to learn a lot from this. I don't know what all we're going to learn yet, but it's going to be a new world. So.
Yeah. And then for a personal question for you, what have you been spending more time at? Everybody says, hey, Brett, you need to get a new hobby, take an instrument. What has, with this extra time, what have you found yourself maybe diving into, maybe industry related or non-industry related?
Sure. One thing that it's allowed us to do is spend a lot of time on relationships. And so,
Right.
even if there's not an active transaction to talk on, we've spent a lot of time just calling our clients and relationships. And some of these folks we've been helping for years and years, and we've had chances to catch up with them and talk about what their goals are at this point in their life, and just communicate again. So we're doing that. We've been not able to do stuff with friends very much, so we spend a lot of time at the farm fishing, just walking outside and doing those things. And we had some really good weather for a while until we get this crazy cold snap.
I know,
So
it's crazy, isn't it? Though. Well,
yeah.
continued success on behalf of Landmark. We'll check in with you in a couple of weeks. Thanks for spending some time with us. And anytime that your daughter wants to make a cameo when we do these little, let her know it's okay. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Brett. We'll
Okay.
see you.
See you then. Thanks, bud. See you later.